Hi guys, this is Amy Novokuski with Ginger Snap Works, and I'm bringing you a little webinar today called Creating Social Media Magic. I may experience some technical difficulties. I haven't used Webinar Jam in a while. I've been using another webinar platform, so hopefully this will all broadcast and be awesome. So first, let me tell you why I've decided to do this webinar. I get really, really frustrated with people being frustrated with Facebook. Um, Recently, I'm sure like you've all have seen a flurry of posts saying, "Oh my God, Facebook's deleting likes from your business page. How are we supposed to do? What are we supposed to do now?" Um, and that led me to like this really high level of frustration because people didn't understand what that meant, right? People didn't understand that that Facebook deleting those likes was actually a really good thing. And then that frustration led me to realize that people don't actually understand how Facebook works. So that was a really interesting thing for me to realize that people are not actually getting what Facebook does. So I created this little webinar to share with you some of the secrets behind Facebook, and hopefully that will boost your performance and your business results on Facebook. So I'm going to share my screen with you, and we are going to start the webinar. So I want to talk to you today about how to win the Facebook game. And if you consider there's a lot of elements to Facebook that really is a game. There's all sorts of different moving pieces that you have to manage and get through. And if you can figure out what those pieces are and how to play the game the way the game was designed, Facebook's going to be awesome for you. So as I said, I get really frustrated when I hear people talking about Facebook is holding my people hostage, right? Um, it's not. Like Facebook is not doing anything intentionally to keep your fans from you. There's a feeling that Facebook is holding your fans hostage so that you have to pay to have your fans see those posts. It's not really true. And it's not true because it's not true, and you need to understand how Facebook actually does work. So herein lies the problem, is that you're playing the wrong Facebook game. Um, Up until recently, the Facebook game was he who has the most fans wins. That was the sole thing that you wanted to do on Facebook, was to get fans at any cost. All you wanted was fans. It didn't matter if they were good fans or bad fans, or if they were fans that would actually buy your product or not. All you wanted was fans. You wanted to have your like count high, and you wanted to grow every day. Now, I'm not saying that you don't want a high fan count now, but the old game was he with the most fans wins, or she with the most fans wins. Whoever your whole marketing strategy was aligned by getting more fans. The more fans you had, the more people would see your content. But the games doesn't play that way anymore. Likes are a very different thing today in Facebook. Facebook has made a whole bunch of changes, and you have to understand how Facebook operates so that you can understand how to get the most likes and how to get the right likes. So in the old days of Facebook, your uh, all you were really concerned about was how do you get the most fans. So that led to a slew of contests, giveaways, like for like posts, meaning you would post in a business forum saying, here's my business page. If you like it, I'll like yours in return. And that started the whole Facebook advertising world also. And it also started click farms. Now, here, what a click farm is a third-party company that creates a ton of Facebook profiles. So they make Betty Sue Johnson, Sue Smith, Betty Sue Glockenspiel. They make all these fake people, and then companies used to pay them to have fake people like their page. And that was great when the game was he with the most fan wins. But it didn't matter who the fan was. You just needed fans. So it didn't matter that there were fake people liking your page. So in the old days of Facebook, it spawned a whole bunch of practices that are no longer relevant to the new Facebook. So that led a lot of professionals to ask, really, what is a fan? And you have to understand that a fan is not a customer. And what's the point of marketing your business if it isn't to get customers, right? So think about it this way. Let's say you have 1,000 Facebook fans on your page, right? But how many of them are actually going to do business with you? That's the second thing that you need to consider, is how many of your fans will actually work with you, purchase your product, or buy a program with you. If those are not your fans, you have the wrong fan base. So I mentioned before that there used to be like you'll see a lot of people posting in business forum, oh, here, like my page and I'll like yours back. That's great. You just got a new like for your page, right? A new fan. But if somebody is in the same business that you are and they're liking your page, are they ever going to come back and engage with your content and eventually work with you? Possibly not. So being obsessed with your fan count in the new Facebook reality is not a great thing. It's not really the best metric for you to use to determine how successful your Facebook page is. So Facebook is getting a lot of flack for like the appearance of holding your fans hostage so that you have to create a boost post to reach your fans. They didn't do that on purpose. What they did do, however, is change the game in the middle of the game so that how you are operating as a business no longer applies, right? It's kind of like we were playing this game and the goal of the game was to put the ball in the basket. That's the game. In the middle of the game, they changed the rule and said it's not the one who puts the most balls in the basket who wins. It's the one who can run across the court the fastest that wins. But they made that change, but they didn't really explain it to the people playing the game. All of a sudden, the rules change. You're still playing one game, but you can't win at the other game because you don't know how the rules for that game works. Does that make sense? So Facebook created a game. He who has the most fan wins. Then changed the game, but we're still operating as if we're playing the same old game. So if there's any place to get really frustrated with Facebook, it's that. It's not that they're holding your fans hostage or it's requiring you to create boost posts. That really doesn't matter all that much. What does matter, however, is playing the right game on Facebook. So if you want to get angry at Facebook, get angry at them for changing the game. So why did they do that? Facebook, once they went public, once they had their initial public offering, their IPO, and became a publicly traded company, they realized that they have to make money. And what they make money on is the users. If the users leave, there is no Facebook. So they have to keep their users happy. I think that was kind of a shock for people, right? That the users matter. If people say, screw Facebook, I don't want to have an account there anymore, this stuff sucks, they're going to go away. And that's the worst thing possible for Facebook, because Facebook makes money by showing ads to users and by offering user data to companies that pay for it. Yeah, I know that sounds creepy, but it's not really. Look, you don't have to be on Facebook. You are there on Facebook for free because you want to be, because it's a place where you can like hang out and socialize with your friends, right? And a place where you can do business too. In exchange for that, in exchange for the freeness of Facebook, ads are occasionally served to you. And it's those ads that keep Facebook running. Now, all of these cool things that Facebook develops just for you, the user, like stickers in private messages, right? The apps that they develop, that all takes money to produce. Facebook takes money to run. They have to make money somehow. And it's either it's either they do it through advertising sales or you have to pay to use Facebook. Now think about that. If Facebook said it's $10 a year to use Facebook going forward from this moment forward, would you pay that $10? A lot of people wouldn't. So to have an advertising-free social media experience, that means you, the user, have to pay for it. So since they want to make Facebook free and accessible to users at all times, the exchange for that is users have to see an occasional ad. So if users left Facebook, however, there would be no money because there would be nobody seeing the posts. Anytime there's a big privacy concern or a new social media channel comes out and Facebook's like, oh my God, and people are like, oh my God, I'm leaving Facebook now because it's so awful. Every time that happens, it's like there is uh, a dip in Facebook's profits. I just got a mention that there might be a problem with the webinar. Someone just texted me. So interesting. All right, well, hopefully this records because there's nothing I can do about it while I'm recording. If there is a problem, I'll send it out to you guys as a replay, and my apologies if there is a problem with GoToWebinar. All right, so no users equals no money for Facebook. So therefore, users have to, Facebook has to keep users happy. What users have said that they don't want is they don't really want to be sold to all the time. So that creates a really interesting conundrum for Facebook, right? How do you keep users happy by not showing them advertisements and promotions and sweepstakes and contests with no real context? And how do you keep advertisers happy by putting content in front of people? So Facebook is constantly tinkering with the algorithm that runs Facebook. And a lot of changes have happened in the past year or so, which leads to the first part of the new game for Facebook, and that's to keep users happy and to keep them using Facebook. The worst case scenario is for a mass flight off of Facebook. That would be like that's the end of Facebook's world. If we stop using Facebook on a daily basis, there is no more Facebook. There's no money there because there's nobody left to advertise to. Facebook gets that and realizes that the first person they have to keep happy are the users, not the businesses who use Facebook, the individual users. So it creates this really delicate balance between users and advertisers. How do you keep your users happy by not having them feel like they're being sold to and advertised every single second of every single day? And how do you keep the advertisers happy who are paying for access to those users? It's a really tricky balance that Facebook has to walk. It's like a tightrope, right? They have to figure out who has the best. They have to figure out how to give users the experience that they're going to love, that has them keep coming back to Facebook time and again, and how to give the advertisers what they want, which is access to those users. So users, as I said, have said that they want more relevant content in their news feeds. So what Facebook has done is created the algorithm that governs the news feed to serve them up content that they will enjoy. The advertisers, on the other hand, they want their content in front of more users, right? So it's this dichotomy of giving users what they want and keeping advertisers happy so that they keep funding Facebook. So the solution here is engagement. The only way that you can keep users happy by giving them the content that they want is by creating some sort of system where users can acknowledge content that they enjoy. That's engagement, right? Engagement is the likes, comments, shares, and clicks that a user generates on any given post. So let me say that again. Engagement is the likes, comments, shares, and clicks that users engage with on any post. That's engagement. So remember, the old game was he with the most fan wins. That's the game we've been playing since the advent of Facebook until about 3 years ago. So this change was made quite some time ago, and we're still playing that old game, right? So the old game was he with the most fan wins. The news feed now shows content slanted towards what Facebook terms calls affinity, weight, and recency. So here's the definitions. Affinity is how close the relationship between the user and the content source is. Weight is what kind of action is taken with the content, and decay or recency is how recent or current the content is. So let me give you some examples about that. We'll start at the bottom, right? Decay or recency. Old content is not as important as new content. So a post that you did 3 months ago is not going to show up in someone's newsfeed. Plain and simple. There's a lot of talk among the professionals, right, about how long the half-life of a Facebook post is. I have seen with my clients that a post has about 12 hours. After 12 hours, it's kind of stale and old. You can sometimes get 24 hours out of a post, and you can get its you can get a post actually to live a couple days, but generally a post is going to have a potency for about 12 hours. So weight, what type of action was taken on the content? So meaning, did somebody like, comment, share, or click on the content? Each of those things is kind of has different value and importance. Just a like isn't as weighty as a comment, which isn't as weighty as a share, which isn't as weighty as a click, right? So those four metrics, clicks, likes, comments, shares, are all weighted inside Facebook. And it's one of the things that determines whether or not a piece of content is going to show up in your newsfeed. So if there's a post that has 100 likes on it, the chances that that will come up in your newsfeed much, much higher than a post that has 1 comment, right? And then affinity. Affinity is how much, think of it this way, it's how much you engage with a piece of content. Here's a great example. Let's say today you go and like Coke and Pepsi on Facebook. Then you consistently every day like, comment, share, or click on something by Coca-Cola, and you never touch anything by Pepsi. Facebook is going to assume that you have an affinity for Coke where you don't have an affinity for Pepsi. Therefore, over time, you will see less Pepsi content and more Coca-Cola content. So weight, affinity, and decay are important metrics inside Facebook. All right, I know. You want to know what this all means, right? So the new game on Facebook is he with the most engagement wins. It doesn't matter how many fans you have. It really matters how much they engage with your content. Engagement at the end of the day is the only metric that I care about with my clients. Of course, we want to be increasing our overall fan count, but if you can do that through engagement rather than any form of advertising, that's going to be much, much more effective for you. That's why you should all care about engagement. I'm going to go out on a limb here and say all you should care about is engagement. I would tell you to stop looking at your fan count, stop looking at your reach numbers, and just focus on how many people like, comment, share, or click on your content. Every time you put a post up on Facebook, you should be asking yourself, will people like, comment, share, or click on this? Put yourself on in the shoes of your users and ask yourself that question with every single post that you put up on Facebook. Now, because engagement is the only way to win the game on Facebook, it's the only way. You can, sure, okay, fine. Dropping advertising money is the second way you can win the game. But let's be honest here. How many of us have $3,000 to $5,000 a month that we can give Facebook? Not a lot of people in the small business space. If you're going to do a serious ad campaign with with Facebook, it really does take an investment of about $1,500 a month. $1,500 a month. Then you actually have to pay someone to administer your Facebook ads for you. Creating a Facebook campaign that actually produces results takes a full-time person. It really, really does. There is so much that goes into it, so much monitoring. So if you have $3,000 to $5,000 plus the fee to hire a professional to do it for you, great. play the Facebook game with advertising. There's tons of people who do, and tons of people who are hardcore winning at that game. Here's the downside, though. The absolute second that they stop paying Facebook, they go back to playing like a normal person, right? And all that advertising that they did actually will impact their organic reach, right? It's kind of like, what's a good way to think about this? So it's kind of like, the more you advertise with Facebook, the more your page views, that weight, recency, and decay are affected by your Facebook advertising dollars. The second you pull your dollars away, Facebook has to reset to a completely different world for you. And your engagement rates, your likes, your reach, everything will plummet the second you stop paying Facebook. It's kind of an addiction. Once you start paying Facebook, you can't stop, because you will see all of your action, all of your engagement, everything go away. But here's the good news, right? The Matrix is like one of my favorite movies. I'm a total dork sometimes, right? But this particular scene in The Matrix has been really impactful for me, right? It's that moment where Neo is standing there and he realizes that the Matrix is a computer program. Computer program has rules. Once you understand the rules and how they function to create the universe around you, you can bend those rules. Facebook is the same way. Once you understand how Facebook works, you can bend the rules of Facebook to get it to do what you want. Remember, we said we were playing a new game versus an old game. You're still operating inside a world of Facebook with old rules that don't work anymore. Learn the new rules for the new code of Facebook, and you'll start producing better results. So Facebook's new code, all of the algorithms that determine what shows up in someone's news feed, is based on engagement metrics. All of it. It doesn't really even look at your fan count anymore. So when you understand that, when you understand how Facebook looks at engagement, how Facebook actually views on a code and rule level each of the different style of posts that are on Facebook, and each of the different styles of content that you can create, you can start manipulating that to produce the results that you want. So, like, one of the first things you need to do to understand engagement is to understand an engagement rate. There's a couple different ways to calculate this, but if you want to look at overall engagement of your page, Facebook publishes this talking about number, right? And you can see it for every single page that business page that exists on Facebook. The talking about number is the number of people who like, comment, share, click, tag, and interact with your content. It's all of those people for a 7-day period, all added up together, right? So to calculate the engagement rate for any given page, you look for the talking about number, divide that by the number of fans, multiply that by 100 so that you get a percentage rate. So let's go through an example here. I just pulled up Coca-Cola earlier today. Currently, they have 89 million likes. 89 million people have liked Coca-Cola's page. Now, here's the thing. Coca-Cola operated under the old game of Facebook, where it was all the likes you can get, that's what you want to do. Who has the most likes wins, right? So Facebook did contest after contest and giveaways, all these things to boost up their like count so that it is 89 million. Now, anytime you go to a Facebook business page, you'll see the number of likes right there underneath people, right? Click on that number and it will bring up a different page so you can look a little more in depth at what's going on. So you can see that the total page likes is 89 million, and the total talking about this number is 1 million. So 1 million people out of that 89 million people, I'm sorry, it's not 1 million. Yes, it is 1 million. So 1.5 million people out of that 89 million people are actually talking about or engaging with Facebook's content. So let's do that math, right? So you take the talking about number, which is 1,600,800, and that number, divide that by the total number of page likes, the 89 million, times that by 100, and you get 1.88%. That's your engagement rate. Now go do that number calculation for yourself. What's the engagement rate on your page? If I would hazard to guess that it's somewhere in the 5 to 10% rate. If you're a small business owner, 5% to 1%, right? Somewhere in there. It's probably not double digits. All This number is important because the higher your engagement rate is, the higher it gets into other people's news feeds. Because let's use Coca-Cola as an example. They were playing that old game of he who has the most likes wins. So they have probably fans on there who have never actually heard of Coca-Cola, who don't actually care about Coca-Cola, who probably have forgotten that they liked Coca-Cola stuff in the first place. And they don't actually care to see content from Coca-Cola on a daily basis, right? All of those fans that really don't care about Coca-Cola are dragging down the engagement numbers of Coca-Cola. If they were to go and like wipe out half their fans, let's say, their engagement numbers would increase. Now, remember, Facebook recently said that they were deleting likes from deactivated accounts. That's a good thing. It gets rid of some of the inactive users that are bringing down your engagement numbers. So let's look at this in practice, right? Here is a post that I did about this dropping the likes thing on Facebook, right? I linked to a blog post that I did. You can see it reached 23 people out of my 1,500 fans. There was 0 engagement on that. Absolutely nothing. This I would consider a failed post, right? I did this post several days earlier, and look at the difference. This reached 239 people. There are 4 likes. There were 3 likes. There was 1 share, and here's the important part. There were 13 post clicks. 13 people clicked on that post to go read that blog post. That's a world of difference, isn't it? Those 4 likes, that 1 share, and those post clicks meant that a quadruple amount of people saw this piece of content. This is hands down the best example of why engagement matters. Engagement is the only thing that's going to get you in front of more people. Now, I could have hit that little sexy boost post button on the bottom and forced Facebook to show it to people. But again, as I said, that's kind of an addiction. Once you start boosting posts, you get inorganic reach inside your pages, and the world kind of goes downhill from there. So the size of your fan count doesn't matter. You can tee-hee at that if you want. It's the quality of your content that matters. You have to remember that, whoops, I don't want to show that yet. Here's the thing. There's people out there. We're not interacting with credit card numbers or automated accounts. Every like that you get, every comment that you get means that a real live actual human being is on the other side of the computer engaging with your content. And people are smart. They don't want to engage with crappy stuff. They really want to see the best of you. And when they take the time to like, comment, share, or click on something that you created, that's them acknowledging that you made them happy. Remember I said Facebook's job is to make users happy? It's also your job. Your sole job is to create engagement, is to create content that people want to engage with. The more you can do that, the better off your fan page is going to be. So I wanted to give you an example of what you can do with with content that speaks to people. This is a client of mine. She's got 5,000 likes on her page. And we created this post, right? It's a picture of her and her daughter and a nice little, inspirational quote. That one post was shared 829 times. It was liked 300 times, and there were 18 comments on it. The post reached 166,000 people. Now, based on that 6% number, right, based on like normal engagement rates, this post should have been seen by about 50 people. We were able to go beyond that because we really touched people's hearts with this post. And it was a way for people to connect with my client about what's important to her, which is her daughter, right? This post was an amazing piece of content that shows a little page with very few fans can have a huge impact, a huge impact. Okay, so I know out there you're not a social media genius, right? You haven't spent the past 20 years studying marketing. You don't live inside Facebook like myself and the professionals do. So I'm going to shortcut this whole process for you. This is how you get engagement that's going to make the difference in your business. So there are 3 secrets that you need to adopt if you want to win the Facebook game. First of all, you have to understand how Facebook works, right? Once you understand that, these 3 things that I'm going to tell you in just a second, if you adhere to these as like your golden rules, you'll start to see the organic reach on your page increase. And that's consistency, infotainment, and access. I'm going to go through each of these, right? But these are the 3 things that I have seen across dozens and dozens of pages that I manage that create the highest engagement. They're all elements that work together in different ways that create a fan page that produces results. So consistency, right? Be consistent. Period. Whatever that looks like for you, be consistent. I often, whenever I'm teaching marketing to people, I like to say that your audience, your fans, are like a puppy, right? When you're training a brand new puppy, the worst thing you can do is give that puppy inconsistent instructions, right? Like a puppy doesn't know that it shouldn't. There's only one couch on the house that it should be on, right? A puppy doesn't know that it can only eat the blue shoes, not the brown shoes. A puppy needs consistency, and your fan base does also. They need to know when to expect content from you. So you kind of have to train your audience in how to respond to you. Now, I don't really care what that consistency looks like. If if you're just brand new to creating content on Facebook, go for a post a day. Make it a really good post, and make it but post every single day. Plan them out in advance. You can schedule content right inside Facebook. Um, but be consistent. Whether it doesn't matter how many posts a day it is, just be consistent. Now, as I said, being a professional manager of dozens of accounts, I have seen that there's a sweet spot of about 2 to 5 pieces of content a day. I just seen one page that does a piece of content on the hour, every hour, 24 hours a day. I don't love that. I think it goes for quantity rather than quality. I had a client that was posting about 10 times a day. We halved the amount of content. We actually brought it down to about 4 posts a day. The second we did, we saw an improvement in her reach numbers, right? People actually engaged with her content more. The biggest reason, it's about 60%. Facebook did a poll, right? So about 60% of the people who unlike a business page, unlike it because they post too often. So you really do have to find the sweet spot of how many times a day your audience will like to see content from you. And you'll see it instantaneously. You'll see your numbers drop as soon as you post too much content. So do some experimenting. Week 1, post twice a day. Week 2, post 3 times a day. Week 4, post 4 times a day. Start playing around and watching what happens inside your insights. And you'll find the perfect amount of time to post. Now, insights is understanding what your insights panel is on your Facebook business page, and understanding the information that insights panel gives you is the secret to understanding how Facebook works and winning the game. Now, I'm not going to go through all of it here because there's so much information that it gives you that that's a class in and of itself. So on the Insights panel, if you go to posts, you'll see this little, I call it the whale chart, right? Because for most people, it looks like a whale. For some people, it's a little smoother than others. For some people, you've got a bumpy whale. But this shows you two things. It shows you the days, Sunday through Monday, and how much activity you have on each of those days. Now, you can see Mondays are actually one of my biggest days for content, right? I generally get 1,400 page views on Mondays, which is a little surprising. Most pages that I work with, their highest days are Thursdays and Wednesdays and Thursdays. Then you want to look at the bottom and the time graph. Obviously, posting at 3 o'clock in the morning would be a bad idea for me. I have a, you would think, oh, it's early in the morning. I'm going to start my content right at 9 o'clock. But my graph here shows that activity on my page doesn't really happen until about 11 a.m. So I'm not going to post my juicy content at 8 o'clock in the morning. I'm going to wait until that 11 a.m. to about 8 p.m. Time frame. That's when I get the most engagement. So go to your Insights panel, look at each day of the week. When you hover over it, the dark blue line is the that work on that particular day, right? So look at what days of the week you get your best traffic, what days of the week and what times of the day your fans tend to be active on your on your Facebook page, right? It's important to note also, because I get questions about this all the time. The times that are listed here are based on the time zone that your computer is in. So I have people who are on the West Coast who think that their Facebook page operates on West Coast time, when actually their fans are more active on an East Coast time pattern. So take a look. Like this, the Insights panel is going to be different for every single page. But to win Facebook, this is one of the things that you have to master when people are looking at your page, and how to best leverage that. So infotainment, right? Okay, fine, I made up the word. It's information and entertainment smooshed together. Here's the thing. If engagement is the key, right? If everybody wants engaging content, if you want to create engaging content so that people will engage with it and see more of your content, you have to entertain them. I recently, in a class that I taught, compared Facebook to the Circus Maximus, right? Facebook is the venue today where people go for their entertainment. Back in Roman times, we would have gladiator fights, right? And bear baiting. Today, it's Grumpy Cat, right? You have to entertain people on Facebook. You have to. People go to Facebook for entertainment. People don't go to Facebook to get a lecture. People don't go to Facebook for statistics, right? They really go to Facebook for entertainment. The more you can provide entertaining content, the better off that's going to be. Now, entertainment can look a whole bunch of ways. This post for my client was highly entertaining, right? It was entertaining because it touched people's hearts. It touched people's hearts in a way that they wanted to share it with others. You know, almost 1,000 people shared this piece of content. Now, this was really simple for us to create. We took a really awesome picture of her being super limber, being the yoga goddess that she is, with her beautiful daughter, and we found a really great quote that went along with that picture. Infotainment can look a lot of different ways. You need to provide value in a way that people enjoy. That's the secret to winning Facebook. Here's another example of a really great post, right? This is from another client. Her fan base is about 20,000 right now. We created this little recipe for her. We put it on a really pretty picture. We created really great fonts and graphics around it, right? And 137 people shared this picture. And like, this was really successful. People loved this picture. People downloaded it. Some people even stole it and put it on their own websites, right? This is another way that you can entertain people. You're providing information, a recipe, in a way that's really pleasing to the eye and easy to consume. Here are some other examples of content that I've done for clients that are entertaining, right? These are all quote unquote infographic style. on the right hand side, you can see the social media images in a snap infographic. I created that inside PowerPoint, right? It was designed for Pinterest. It's not really a great image for Facebook, but I use slices of that inside Facebook. It provides value because it teaches you something, and it's kind of entertaining to look at, right? Quote posts, like the "if you wouldn't put it in your mouth, don't put it on your skin" quote, those kind of posts are super huge too, right? It's again entertaining and it provides value. Recipes are great if you're in the health and wellness world. If you can put the recipes in an image, food for anything is really popular, right? And the red elephant, that's a client's logo. They have an elephant in their logo. And we had some fun with it on St. Patrick's Day where we gave them a little shamrock, right? That was also a really successful post. People thought it was cute and charming, right? How you could take your logo and make something really fun out of it. So infotainment, entertaining information can look a whole bunch of different ways. So you're going to have to like go to art school, get a little creative, and create some engaging content. Now, here's a secret. All of the images on this particular page were created inside PowerPoint, that stodgy old presentation software that we all hate to use. It's actually a really powerful image creation tool. In my thank you note for this webinar, I'll send you a link to my tutorial on how to use PowerPoint to create really engaging graphics. Shareable images are probably the easiest way for you to create infotainment on your page. Here's another secret inside the infotainment thing is you have to focus on them, not you. People don't care unless you're Kim Kardashian, right? People don't care what you had for breakfast. People don't care where you're going on vacation. There can be some star fact qualities in that. You know, like I often create posts when I travel about other business owners that I meet while I'm on the road. That can be interesting and entertaining. But at the end of the day, if you're not focusing your content on them, on your audience, on what they care about, you're kind of talking to yourself. So when you're creating a post, you really want to be thinking, do people really care about this? How can I provide more value to the people who are my fans on Facebook? Here's the last bit, access, right? You want to give people access to your brilliance. That's if you can find ways to share your particular brilliance or your particular knowledge and expertise with people on Facebook, you will win. Now, providing access can look a whole bunch of ways. For example, while I'm out and about and tooling around Facebook, I'll often see people make a comment about being frustrated with this or not knowing how to do that. I'll jump on and create a 2-minute video personalized just to them and send it to them, right? That creates access. People are able to access the information that I have about how Facebook works. There are other ways you can provide access. This webinar is a way that you can provide access. Access can look a whole bunch of different ways. I'm going to show you a particular post that was done by a friend of mine that I think is probably genius. It's probably the best post that I've ever seen done on a business page from the perspective of access. So Indigo Lights is owned by my friend Elizabeth, and she's a spiritual worker, and she helps her clients get in alignment with their purpose and their spiritual goals inside their business, right? And one of the ways that she does that is through using crystals. And meditating with crystals, cleansing your aura and your chakra with crystals, and using crystals to tell you information that you need to have. Each crystal has a different meaning behind it, kind of like tarot cards do, right? So she put up this post saying that that she's pulling stones, meaning she's going to pick stones and then for individuals and then tell you what it means for you. This post was crazy successful. She only has about 500 fans on her Facebook page, but over 28 people liked it, and there were about 102 comments on this post alone. Now, here's what was even more successful about that. After she did this post, 5 people registered for her program about crystals. And it's the access that she provided. She gave people a taste of what it's like to work with her, and then people worked with her. It's kind of like sampling at Costco, right? You get that little bit of cheesecake, then you go and buy the whole cheesecake. The more you can provide access to your brilliance, the more people will want to work with you. So I want you to remember that you've been playing the game wrong, and it's 100% okay. Remember, I said Facebook changed the rules on us and then didn't really tell us they changed the rules. So get angry at Facebook for that. So now you know that you have to play the right game. I want to, like, the last point that I want to touch on is stop playing the fan game. It doesn't matter how many fans you have on your page, because what is a fan? A fan is just somebody who likes your stuff. You really need to be concerned about customers. Having a billion fans, having the Coca-Cola 89 million fans is great. Or all those 89 million people buying Coca-Cola on a daily basis? Maybe, maybe not. But think of your fan base. How many people do you know who liked your page because they want to support you? They might be competitors or people in the same business as you, or your high school best friend, but they're not actually customers. So while looking at your fan count is great, you really want to be focused at the end of the day on customers, not fans. Because here's where the power of Facebook lies, is that Facebook is an amazing tool for building that know, like, and trust factor. And that's the only reason that people buy, is because they know, like, and trust you. They feel like you're a friend. Remember I showed you that post by Elizabeth with the crystals? People knew her because they were fans of her page. They like her, right? And they trusted her because she gave them access to a piece of her brilliance. So if you can build know, like, and trust, that's where you buy, where you will get people to work with you, because people buy on emotion, not logic. There's no logic involved in a purchasing decision. It's all emotional. And the best way to cause emotion is through creating really great content on Facebook. So to do that, stop selling. I tell this to all of my clients, like, ease up on the promotional content, provide value, and people will naturally want to work with you. Like that post Elizabeth did about the crystals. She didn't then say to everybody, oh, you have to register for my course before I do this for you. Right? People got really engaged and interested in what she was doing because she was being social, right? She was chit-chatting with people. Then she was able to make a natural offer saying, hey, if you enjoyed that, I have this course that you might be interested in. How do you feel about that? So you can make, once you stop selling and you start being social, you can then make invitations. Invitations are always better than a sales pitch. So your next steps, right? Get a calendar. Plan out your content. Write it inside your calendar. How many posts a day are you going to do? What times a day are you going to post them out? Plan out what you're going to post. Then start thinking about how can you provide value and entertainment at the same time. Maybe that's in an infographic that you want to produce. Let's say you're a health coach, right? And you want to, and you're doing a detox, and part of your detox is doing oil pulling, right? So you want to create some interesting content around oil pulling with coconut oil, the benefits of coconut oil, and create that content in really entertaining ways. And then look for ways that you can connect with people. How can you connect with folks in a meaningful way so that you can build that emotional connection with people so that they will accept your invitations when you're ready to offer them? So to do that, I'm offering a social media masterclass. This is a 2-hour power-packed class on how to do Facebook like a professional. I'm going to show you all of the tricks that we use to create massive amounts of content. I added it up the other day. I probably write about 100,000 words a month. 100,000 words and that's not including my personal email communication, right? That's between blog post emails, blog post marketing pieces, newsletters, and social media content for my clients. And I managed to have a life in the process. So how can you generate massive amounts of content and have it be more effective in less time? So I'm going to show you the secrets behind that. And these are like closely guarded secrets. Very few social media professionals will really pull back the veil and show you exactly how they create content for their clients. I'm also going to give you the expandable content tool. This is a tool that I developed and I use with my private clients who train with marketing and social media for me. It's a really handy tool that'll help you create a month's worth of content in just a couple hours, right? And it hinges off of creating a really great blog post, and it'll take you step by step through creating all of the social media that you need for an entire month. And here's a bonus too. We'll do a 15-minute private Q&A session between you and me, where you can come to the table with any questions that you have that haven't gotten answered in the masterclass, and I will personally help you through whatever problem that is. Space is limited for this class because I do want to keep it intimate. So I will cut off registration when the class gets full. The cost is $197, and it'll be on Thursday, April 16th from 7 to 9 p.m. Eastern. I will record it, but I highly, highly recommend that if you purchase the class, you attend live, because there will be plenty of time for question and answer. It will actually probably run longer than 2 hours. I'm planning on doing 2 hours of content and then about an hour of live Q&A. And when I say this is live, we're going to go into Facebook and create content together. I'm going to show you exactly how I do it, how I plan it out, how I schedule it all, what I automate, and all the tools that I use to do that, to create 100,000 words for clients in a couple hours a week. So thank you for joining me on this webinar. I know a few people have already texted me that they couldn't get onto this webinar, so it is recorded, and I will send out that recording and some follow-up so that you can be on your way to winning the game of Facebook. Again, this is Amy Nowakoski with Ginger Snap Works, and I look forward to see you working your content. Thanks.